The cat arrived on a Thursday in March in a carrier that was significantly too small for him, carried by a 26-year-old woman who had driven 4 hours to deliver it and was not going to take no for an answer. Her father opened the door, looked at the carrier, and said he didn't want a cat. His daughter said she knew that. She set the carrier down in the hallway, opened the door, and left before he could say anything else. The cat that emerged was not what most people picture when they think of a house cat. He was 4 years old and weighed 19 pounds, with a coat of dark tabby that made him look like something assembled from old forest in winter light. His ears had the lynx tufts characteristic of his breed. His chest carried a mane that would have been at home on something considerably larger, and he assessed the hallway with the expression of a man who has arrived at a hotel and is quietly deciding whether it meets his standards. His name, according to the papers in the carrier pocket, was Barnaby. Robert Callahan was 61 years old and had lived in the same house in Asheville, North Carolina, for 32 years. His wife, Margaret, had lived there with him for 30 of those years before she died 14 months ago. And in the 14 months since, Robert had done a reliable impression of a man who was physically present but had quietly decided to stop participating in the day. He ate when he remembered to, he slept at irregular hours, he sat in the same chair by the window where Margaret used to read and looked at the street without seeing much of it. His daughter Claire had watched this for 14 months. She had tried phone calls, visits, dinner invitations, a grief counselor he attended twice, and a men's group at the local church he attended once and did not return to. Nothing had found the right angle. Nothing had given him a reason to move through the day with any particular purpose. She had driven 4 hours with a Maine Coon in a carrier because she had run out of other ideas. Robert did not want the cat. He also did not, in those first few days, do anything to remove him. Barnaby seemed unconcerned by either position. He explored the house with methodical thoroughness, every room, every surface, every corner, over the course of the first 48 hours, and then established a rotation of preferred locations that he maintained with the consistency of a professional. The windowsill by the kitchen, the arm of the couch, the top of the bookshelf in the study where he could observe the entire room from a height that satisfied him. He did not seek Robert out. He did not perform affection or demand attention. He simply occupied the house with a calm, substantial presence that made it feel, for the first time in 14 months, like something other than a place where one person was quietly waiting without knowing what he was waiting for. Robert fed him because the cat needed to be fed. He changed the water because the water needed changing. Small obligations, the kind that require you to get up at a specific time for a specific reason, which is a different thing entirely from getting up because the day has started and there is nothing in particular to do with it. Robert hadn't realized how much he missed having something in the house that needed him, just in the plain, immediate way of a creature that required breakfast and would let you know clearly if it wasn't coming. There was something grounding in that. Something he hadn't known he was missing until it arrived uninvited in a carrier in his hallway. If you've been watching this channel and haven't subscribed yet, I'd ask you to do that now. This story is the reason this channel exists. Hit the button. We'll continue. 3 weeks in, on a Tuesday night in April, Robert sat in the chair by the window at 2 in the morning and cried. Not for the first time since Margaret died, but for the first time without trying to stop it, without the particular exhaustion of a person who has been holding something at arm's length for so long that the holding has become the only thing they know how to do. He didn't hear Barnaby come into the room. He didn't notice him until the weight settled onto the arm of the chair beside him, 19 pounds of Maine Coon arranging himself with surprising delicacy and then lowering his enormous head until it rested against Robert's shoulder. He didn't purr. He didn't do anything. He just stayed there, warm and heavy and completely still, while Robert sat in the chair where Margaret used to read and finally let himself grieve without managing it.
Robert told Claire about it 2 days later. He called her, which he hadn't done in 3 months without her calling first. He didn't know how to explain what had happened exactly. He said the cat had just shown up. She said she knew. Maine Coons are the largest domestic cat breed in the world. They are known for an unusual quality that breeders and owners describe consistently and that researchers have begun to document more formally, a form of social attunement that is not typical of most cats. They seek out the person in the room who is struggling. They position themselves near grief and illness and exhaustion with a quiet reliability that is difficult to attribute entirely to coincidence. They are not lapdogs. They do not perform comfort on cue. They simply show up and stay, which is, as it turns out, often exactly what is needed and almost never what was asked for. Barnaby had assessed the house in 48 hours and understood something that 14 months of phone calls and dinner invitations and grief counselors had not quite reached. There was a person here who needed company that didn't require anything from him. Not conversation, not progress, not the performance of getting better on a timeline that made other people more comfortable. Just presence. Consistent and undemanding and there every single morning when Robert woke up. It has been 14 months since Claire left the carrier in the hallway. Robert still sits in the chair by the window. He still thinks about Margaret every single day, which he expects he will do for the rest of his life, and which is not a problem to be solved. But he gets up at 7 now because Barnaby expects breakfast at 7 and has strong opinions about lateness. He calls Claire on Sundays. He started attending a woodworking class on Wednesday evenings, something he had talked about for years and never quite gotten around to. He is not fixed because he was never broken. He is simply moving through the days again, which is a different thing from waiting in them. Barnaby still sleeps on the arm of the chair by the window every night. He is still not a lap cat. He still assesses every visitor with the expression of someone who has seen a great deal and is not easily impressed by any of it. But every morning he appears at Robert's bedroom door at 6:59 and waits. And every morning, Robert gets up. Some things don't announce themselves as important when they arrive. Sometimes they just walk out of a carrier in a hallway and make themselves at home, and you only understand later what it was they actually brought with them. What's a moment in your life that seemed small at the time but turned out to change more than you expected? Tell me in the comments.